Hey guys, how's it going? Today let's do an unboxing of the Bulova collection. This is the Breton model, so they actually have a few different models in the collection. It is a limited edition collection, and I'd love to show it to you guys. So Bulova is a fairly well-known watch brand, I would say, because they mostly operate on the cheaper segment. They usually make cheaper quartz watches, but they do have a higher-end watch collection that's made in Switzerland. Even though they're an American watch brand, they do have mechanical watches that are made in Switzerland. Used to be called AccuSwiss, but then they changed the name because that was too similar to Accutron, which is a different watch line from them. And yeah, this comes from their higher-end Swiss line. So let's take a look. So this box is, I would say, fairly basic. It's not like the most extravagant box I've ever seen, but it's not like terrible either. Let's see, there's actually more down here, so it is brand new, so I just got it with the price tag, and get a few other things here. Okay, so we get the limited edition Joseph Bulova collection, limited edition Breton, Swiss-made, automatic, and the year the company was established, which is 1875. So Bulova's been around for quite a while. I would say that Bulova is one of the most well-known American watch brands, along with Timex, of course, and Shinola. No, I'm just kidding about Shinola. Hamilton, right? Hamilton has a very storied history in America. Of course, they're a Swiss company now, but you know, they have American roots. So I would say Bulova is one of the more well-known American watch companies. See, it is a limited edition model. It is named after their founder, of course, Joseph Bulova. And it's inspired by the 1920s to 1940s because it's inspired by the Art Deco design, which is popular during that time. And I really like Art Deco design. 350 pieces is pretty limited, actually. That's more limited than a lot of different watches, or a lot of different luxury watches. That's more limited than my Oris, for example. My Oris GMT, there's 1,000 pieces made. My Orient Sun and Moon limited edition, 1,500 pieces made. This is by far the most limited watch that I own. 350 pieces only. That's pretty limited. That's legit limited. So this is the instructions for Bulova. All right, pretty interesting. And of course, Bulova is not an expensive watch brand, so this is definitely one of their more expensive watches. I got this for around $700. So it's fairly expensive for a Bulova watch. It is not so expensive when you compare it to other luxury watches, right? Even to Hamilton, right? Even though Hamilton's an entry-level luxury brand, but they still make more expensive watches than Bulova. I would say Bulova operates in the usual very affordable price range of $200 to $300, competes with Seiko and Orient and Casio, right? Like, we usually do not see Bulova watches in this price range competing with Tissot's and Hamilton's, and the Joseph Bulova collection does compete with those watch brands, so that's pretty interesting. All right, so here goes, that's Joseph Bulova collection here, and then of course you have the watch itself, and I don't think there's nothing else, right, in the box. I wouldn't think that there's anything else because it's not like it's an electronic device or anything, right? There's no charger or nothing because it's completely analog, being an analog watch. Now, the special thing about the Breton is, of course, you can tell that it is very Art Deco-ish, and I love Art Deco design. I actually commented the same about my Nomos Tetra. However, it kind of reminds me of Art Deco design, and I own a guitar, the Duesenberg, right, which also has an Art Deco design. What's very familiar about Art Deco design is it's very angular, right? Until this is a very square watch. Now, they also make a tonneau shape, right? So they have a more tonneau shape model as well, but this is their purely square model, and this is the black dial version. So they also have a white dial version and like a cream, not cream, champagne, I would say, champagne dial colored version. And this one comes with a brown leather strap, right? So yeah, it says Joseph Bulova on the strap right here. And I would say it's pretty nice. I like the quality. I'm not going to say it's as good as my Nomos, but that's in a completely different price level, right? But this is pretty solid. You can see there's a name on the crown here, right? It says Bulova here. Yeah, I'm hoping you can see that. Very tiny, but you can definitely see their logo here. You don't see their brand logo here like on their other watches. The logo for Bulova is actually a tuning fork, which is inspired by their predecessor to quartz watches called the Accutron, right? That was one of the first, I would say, I think it's the second actually. Hamilton made the first electric watch, which was the Ventura. But then Bulova, I think, came out with the second one, which was the Accutron. So they made the world's second electric watch, I believe, and is a predecessor to quartz watches. So they actually have some innovative history to them. But that became their logo. They had a tuning fork logo. It's not present on this model. So it's pretty interesting. Instead, it says 1875 automatic. And Swiss made, of course, this is not one of their usual watches. It's actually using an ETA movement, I believe. So encased in Switzerland, of course, that's the law of Swiss made here, is it uses a Swiss movement and it's cased up in Switzerland. And it has a date window right here, replacing the 3. And you can tell that it's a fairly slim watch. Not as slim as my Nomos, but still pretty slim. I'll give you a comparison here. This is my Orient Sun and Moon, which has a thickness of 14 millimeters. It's a 42 millimeter watch. And the Bulova is definitely slimmer than that, right? It doesn't have this top dial part extruding out. Definitely a smaller watch. And I think the thickness is more like 12 millimeters ish, if I were to guess. Yep. And the case size definitely smaller. It's like a 38 millimeter almost. But it's a square watch, and square watches are usually smaller, right? Which is another reason I like them, because I feel like big watches they're getting too much these days. If you look at the back, there's the Swiss ETA movement right here. Okay, it says Swiss made sapphire crystal, which is nice, right? Because even a lot of Seiko watches in this price range, they don't give you sapphire crystal, they give you hardlex, which is not as good. And then water resistant, I'm guessing that's 5 ATM, which is a standard, even though it doesn't say anything about that. Yeah, then there's just some serial numbers in stainless steel. And you can see it says Joseph Bulova 1875 limited edition. Really only 350 made of each model, which is actually quite limited, right? 350 is quite a limited run. And half exhibition case right here. Interesting. I've never seen this before. Like, usually if they do an exhibition case back, it's usually a full window where you can see the movement, but this is only half. So this is the first time I've seen a design like this, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I like this watch. It's not that big. It's very stylish. A lot of people will notice this watch because it looks quite different than other watches because of the distinctive Art Deco design. You can see the numerals, the Arabic numerals here is very distinctive. So it is definitely a watch you can wear to harken back to the 1920s, 30s, or 40s. Dual brown leather strap is pretty good, so I'm going to put it on myself. You guys can see what it looks like. Alright, yeah, the buckle says Bulova here. And then this is how it looks like on my wrist. It wears definitely bigger than the Nomos Tetra, but it's not too big, you know. As a square watch, this is probably the biggest you would probably go, right? I think anything bigger and it looks kind of weird for a square watch, but this is a nice size. It's the right size, I think. So this is how it wears on my wrist. Again, more of a dress watch, but I think square watches in general, I would think, are more dressy compared to their round counterparts. It just feels that way. You don't see anyone wearing Cartier tanks, you know, just for fun. Those guys are, they mean business when you wear a Cartier tank. But yeah, generally like square watches, I feel like they're very dressy. And this one's really nice. Pretty unique. Some people might ask about it. Some people might be surprised that it's a Bulova, because again, Bulova is a brand that's well known for affordable watches, not exactly for $700. Actually, this is more than $700 MSRP, right? It's more like over $1,000. So many people will be surprised to know that Bulova actually sells watches with MSRP over $1,000. But this is their high-end Swiss line. It is a limited edition model, and it does feel really nice. It's all stainless steel, right? So definitely some quality work going on here. So that's probably why they justify that high price, and therefore they are competing with this model and their Swiss main line. They are competing with the entry level luxury brands like Frederic Constant or Longines or Tissot or Seiko Presages, right? Hamiltons. They are competing with those brands, and I would say like I would put this right alongside those entry level luxury brands because I feel like the quality is there for their Swiss made line. There's no reason why Bulova should be associated only with cheap watches, right? I mean, they do make some good looking quartz watches as well, but just goes to show that they're putting some effort into their mechanical lines as well. So that's nice. Anyways, guys, this is the Bulova Joseph Bulova model collection. This is the Breton model, which is the perfectly square model. They also make a round model version and a tonneau shaped version. But I like the perfectly square version the best. Again, inspired by the Cartier tank, Art Deco design, and a very unique watch. Yeah, I don't think that there is many other watches that look like this. So I like it. Very elegant looking, classy. Yeah, I would pair this with a suit and a fedora. You know, you got to get into the era, or a Homburg hat, right? Put yourself back in the 1930s, the Depression era, New York City, the Empire State Building, Chrysler Building, right? Duesenberg cars, Packards, you know, very, very stylish and elegant. Thanks, guys. That's it. That's the Bulova, Joseph Bulova Breton. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Leave me any comments in the section below.